Elkanon's long-abandoned factory has been an eyesore for too many cycles, according to Northbury Grove locals. As the town grows into a tourist hotspot, more and more are petitioning to tear down the building, bearing its controversial history with it. More on that later, but first, a fucking breaking story. Another body has been found on Route 20, marking the third in just the last week. The Northbury Grove Police Department have issued a statement saying the nature of the crime scene indicates this is not the work of the Waste Riders gang, but that of a serial killer.
Oh God! Holy fuck!
Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, I'm shitting myself. Nearly died again.
Ow! Ow! Oh, that's not even him. That's some other ow! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I'm out of here. Bye. Go, 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 go. Oh my God! Whoa! 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 Ali. Ready?
Holy shit, dude.
What am I looking for?
Oh my God! How do you lose him? How do you lose him? How do you lose this asshole?
Originally, Caleb and Blake pitched Northbury Grove as a really grungy, retro, PS1-looking affair. Survivor Grace Bailey would escape a house of horrors of the Spectre City slasher, who is the main character of my fourth album of the same name. But then I got on board to write gameplay and the script, and the story and the scope expanded into a much broader narrative that followed 3 survivors over the course of one fateful night, and how they all had a brush with the same killer. My ideas generally tend to get too big, so what ended up happening is we split it into 3 games: Northbury Grove, King's Comfort, and soon Walls Closing In, which will be the original idea, incidentally, Grace Bailey escaping a house of horrors. But now the killer is established, and people have been wondering about Grace for 3 games, so it gives it more weight, the weight it deserves. So our first game was Northbury Grove. The survivor was Connor DeLune. He would find himself encountering the slasher in the woods at the scene of an abandoned music festival, and eventually an abandoned factory. Rock the Warehouse is actually based on the first festival I ever played, Rock the Resort. We also had some more lore-established references to other parts of the universe, like Northbury Ale and Alcannon Industries. This is a living, breathing world, so we needed to demonstrate that however we could.
We released Northbury Grove in early October of 2018 for free on itch.io. We had no idea what kind of reception it was going to receive. We were blown away by all the streams and Let's Plays. The second game was King's Comfort. This time, players would see things through the eyes of Trevor, the older brother to Crystal from the first game. He would be just down the road at a seedy motel, waking up after a hangover. We wanted King's Comfort to come out immediately after Northbury Grove, so we buckled down and managed to push it out in just a month. The game was definitely inspired by Halloween 2.
Northbury Grove had a more Friday the 13th vibe to it in terms of the setting, and the slasher felt a bit more Leatherface. You know, campers in the woods being terrorized by a sprinting maniac. You know, summer camp, music festival, close enough. And King's Comfort, basically, much like Halloween 2, same night, direct sequel, it picks up right where the first one left off. And as for the killer's behavior, as Caleb mentioned, it's more stalkerish and more creepy. It's more Michael Myers. The desolate motel setting, kind of influenced by Duel and, The Hitcher.
With King's Comfort, we wanted to push the creep factor of the slasher. In the first game, he was more of a brutish, rushing type of serial killer. And in the second one, he would disappear while in pursuit at random, and the player would have no idea where he went. One thing we wanted to do with the shotgun is add kind of a psychological scare in that we didn't set it up in the traditional sense of an FPS controller. We actually flipped the firing button to the right click and gave the player no prompt as to what was going on. This naturally added panic as players would dart for the shotgun in hopes that they could quickly turn around and shoot the slasher. But as the gun seemingly misfired, players wouldn't always hit the slasher with the one shot they had, and that added a lot to the intensity of the scene.
But like any good slasher, he's definitely not dead. In fact, if you try to teabag him like some sarcastic SpongeBob gamer, he'll kill you. You'll die. You'll be the Red Viper to his mountain. He will pop your eyes out the back of your skull. Spoiler alert. If you leave the area and come back, he's gone. And if you've managed to find the bloodstain where he was, you'll get a little music cue.
I like the King's Comfort setting. I think that's going to be a chain of motels within this universe, and we'll see more games set in other King's Comfort settings, because a motel is just so unnerving. You don't know what happened in that room. You're renting out a stay in the filth and energy of everyone that was there before you. That's what you're renting. You're paying for that. You don't know who soiled those sheets, or what substances were snorted off that dresser, or if someone got gunned down No Country for Old Men style, or if someone hung themselves in the bathroom. There's a lot of sordid history in motels that make it a great setting for a horror game. And it tied directly to the first game. That wasn't Trevor's phone in the porta potty. That isn't canon. That was someone else. That was one of the victims. That person was headed in the same direction. They never made it, though, because the slasher caught up to him, hung him up upside down in the abandoned factory.
And so we land on our third survivor, Grace Bailey, our final girl as per slasher movie tradition. We're back to our initial concept, Grace escaping the slasher's lair. Only now we've ditched the retro aesthetic. Now that we've finally made it to Grace Bailey's story, we're pumped to bring some closure to the Butcher of Northbury Grove, for now at least.